Train the muscles, not the joints. So based on a little bit of a camera fail there, I'm going to be doing my rest of my workout at home. So I tried to do a little bit of fixing on the other lens and stuff, and well, to no avail. So basically, I'll have to deal with that later. But I think the camera's doing okay. I thought at first the camera was broken, and it was kind of acting a little weird, so hopefully that's not the case. I'm going to be doing some bent over rows, and I'm going to do some Romanian deadlifts, because that's what I plan on doing at the gym. Basically, the reason why I do the Romanian deadlift, like me and my best buddy, Kyle Murphy, he doesn't know we're best buddies, but we're best buddies.
Got about 30 reps at 225. What do you think about that?
That's it? Me and Adam are best buddies too, so I got a lot of best buddies.
Say happy friend-iversary to my best friend, Jason Gallant.
You know, a lot of you guys watching, you might be my best buddy too, so I have a lot of best buddies. But anyway, me and Kyle were talking, or Kyle and I, to be proper. Kyle and I were talking about stiff-legged deadlifts as opposed to Romanian deadlifts. And I like Romanian deadlifts better because I find whenever you lock the knee out, you take a certain risk with the hamstring. And the hamstring you don't want to tear, okay? So if you straighten the knees, now the tendon takes a lot of stress. And I know a lot of guys that actually tore hamstrings doing the stiff-legged deadlift. So some people, they might be able to get away with it, but I find that, again, you wanna make sure the stress is on the belly of the muscle, not in the insertion point, okay? So where the muscle actually inserts, you don't want the stress to be there. You want the stress to be on the belly. So say the belly of the bicep would be here, you know, but not so much in here. You know, once it starts to feel like the majority of the stress is there, then you're kind of playing with disaster there. There can be a tear or a pull or a problem. As a good rule of thumb, keep the stress on the belly as much as you can. And that's why I use the Romanian deadlift, because I can keep the back arched, slightly bend the knees. That way it's easier to keep the back arched, which again, also protects the lower back. And then you can keep that stress on the hamstring. But first I'm gonna start with some bent over rows, and then I'll move into some Romanian deadlifts. I don't know how big of a workout I'm gonna do. It's a little bit late now after I got home from the gym and everything, trying to deal with this camera thing. So, but I will be starting a Patreon page, just so you guys know. So if you see the link down below, yeah, I did that because you know what? When I drop a camera, I need to be able to replace it because you know what? I live to make this content for you guys. And if I destroy my equipment, I'll need a little bit of help to replace it, so. So, thanks. So the important thing to know with bent over rows is that you want to pull to the waist. You don't want to pull to the chest. If you're pulling to the chest, you're going to start working the upper back a lot. But that's not really the problem. Working the upper back is great. We all want to work the upper back and the lower back and the lats and the mid back and all this kind of stuff. We want to work all the parts of the back. But the problem is with pulling to the chest when you're in a bent over state is that your lower back will become the weak link because now the weight is farther away from the pivot point, and that will cause your lower back to give out long before your upper back does. And the whole point of bodybuilding is to build that big back, right? You want to build that back too. So you don't want your lower back to become the weak link during the exercises that are supposed to build your upper back. If you're wondering what this is a lat stretch. So if you, I mean, I know it's a really quick one. Ideally, you would hold a stretch for about a minute or two, but sometimes I just do stuff because it feels good, kind of like scratching an itch. Sometimes I just do that. So I'm kind of instinctual that way. So if you want to get technical with a stretch, you want to hold it for at least a minute, minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes in some cases. But basically what you do is you keep the elbows in and then you bend over at the waist and you raise the arm up. Basically, you do the opposite of what lats do. You know, the lats, when your arm is directly in front of you, the lats pull your arm right down to the waist. Well, do the opposite, and that gives you a lat stretch, especially with the elbows in. A mistake that I commonly see is people, when they're doing back, they tend to reach too far forward. So long after their back is already stretched out as much as they can. Then they try to give that extra stretch, which actually stretches their rear delts or stretches out their bicep more, or extends their shoulder so much that then their bicep has to keep the shoulder in the socket. So it's really counterproductive to back training to overextend the joints.
So first I'm going to warm up for Romanian deadlifts, because bent over rows aren't quite the same as Romanian deadlifts, although they look similar. But because you're stretching the hamstring out a little bit more and stuff like that, you want to make sure that's good and warm before you start moving up into heavier weight. I think I'm just going to stay at 225 today. I'm not going to go super heavy, but I find the biggest benefit that Romanian deadlifts give me is that activation of the hamstring with the posterior chain of the lower back, the back and everything, and working the hamstrings and that together at the same time. So it's a really great rehabilitation thing for lower back. I know my dad for years just loved Romanian deadlifts because it helped rehabilitate his lower back, and his back felt really good when he was doing that. And I find a lot of people do feel really good when they do the right weight and the right range of motion with Romanian deadlifts. The big problem people do have though is that they try to strain their way through these types of movements, and by straining they start to round their back a bit, or something kind of gets tweaked and stuff. So at that point, the exercise becomes redundant. It's not really useful then at that point, because you're basically just straining yourself. So you want to basically gain in strength, but you want to gain in strength with form that is safe for your body. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on what that is, but one sign is if you're getting pain in an area, that means something needs to change. That's it. That's simple, right? It's not about an opinion. It's not about somebody saying, hey, that's the wrong way and this is the right way. It's more about, is it killing you or not? And if it is, then change it up, change something. Maybe lighten the load, maybe change your form a bit, cater the range of motion to your body, whatever it might be.
Now, a helpful piece of advice when you are doing Romanian deadlifts is to just envision or try to feel your heels of your feet pushing backwards through the back wall. So it's like you're running. It's like you're activating those hamstrings by extending the hips. So it's not about the focus of lifting the weight. It's like you want to focus on extending the hips, which means pushing backwards with the heels. That will really assist you with keeping that stress on the hamstring and not rounding the lower back.
Very good, Daniel-san. Very good, Daniel-san. Now, as you notice, I don't lock out at the top. I just come to here and then right back down again because I'm trying to keep that tension on the hamstring. When I come up to here, like here and then past, what happens is the stress then starts to just transfer to the top of the shoulder and sometimes the traps, and also to just me holding on to the weight, but I'm not necessarily getting more hamstring activation. And my goal is to hit hamstring failure, not to hit trap failure or other parts failure, although I do get some development from this exercise in those areas too, but I want to get those hamstrings to failure. That's what I want to do. Hope you enjoyed the workout. Thanks for watching. Share my stuff. Uploading this puppy any minute now. Cool, all right.